I'm having tons of fun playing Warframe with a variety of new builds after Dante Unbound this month. Now, you may have seen my video before showcasing the new augment of Lavos, but it seems that I only scratched the surface of the augment, and I truly think this is one of the best things that Digital Extremes added in the Dante Unbound update. Honestly, I think this makes Lavos meta right now, but wait, this Warframe is not the original when it comes to this type of combo. We will talk about this and more, so sit tight, and I hope that you will learn something new from this video, and it will somehow make you enjoy Warframe more. Basically, you can use the best element types in dealing huge damage to enemies right now. In one synergy, you can have Viral, Corrosive, and Toxin all working together to kill enemies fast and easy. The Corrosive stack paired with 2 Emerald Archon Shard will allow you to strip the full armor of enemies, hence making their health vulnerable. And then, the Viral stacks allow you to deal more damage to enemy health. Lastly, Toxin does bypass shield, and it directly attacks the health of enemies, and this pairs well with the Viral stacks, making it a very potent elemental synergy. The best part is, before the Corrosive stack can even strip all the armor of enemies, the damage from Toxin accumulates, and then you can have the full 10 stacks of Viral, which makes your DPS even deadly. Not to mention that all these damage types do increase the buff you get from your Galvanized status chance mod. And of course, you can eventually add more elements to it by equipping the new Whispers in the Wall mods that give radiation elements without combining with another element to form a new one. This is completely insane, and you can melt enemies in seconds with this kind of setup. The best part is, Lavos' new Valence Formation augment makes it better as it provides an elemental damage boost, and my favorite part is that it can combine with another element, but also provides a separate proc of the element you imbued using the Warframe's ability. Basically, if I imbue a Toxin element, then my gun has innate electricity, it will form Corrosive, but it will also proc the Toxin element that I have imbued. This is super broken, and it makes Lavos strong right now because instead of choosing the right element to kill a specific faction, you can just pick Lavos to kill any faction in the game with one gun alone. Now, let's take a look at my Lavos build. After a couple of weeks testing, I finally decided to go with a Viral helmet build on this Warframe. The most important imbuement for me is either Corrosive, Viral, or Heat. I could just end up replacing this Warframe's Vile Rush since I don't need the cold status at all, but remember that you can only imbue one element type for Valence Formation. The Heat element is great when it comes to damage over time, but I really prefer Corrosive since its synergy with Emerald Archon Shard for full armor strip. Viral is also an option, but I decided to replace that with the Nourish ability since this will make modding guns unrestrictive. Since Nourish gives a separate Viral proc without combining to another element, I can freely mod for something else in my gun. Also, since Nourish and the element you get from Valence Formation are 100% guaranteed to proc, I can assure that I will always have the 10 times stack of Viral and 14 stacks of Corrosive in my arsenal. In my Lavos build, I decided to go with full duration since I want both elements from Valence Formation and the Viral element from Nourish to be active in longer periods, since I'll be using my guns to kill enemies at a very fast rate. I don't need to use my abilities to kill enemies, and I only use it to imbue elements on my weapons. Now, in my opinion, it's better to aim for weapons with innate element, preferably those who have either innate Toxin or electricity on their stats. Let's take, for example, the Incarnate Torrid. This evolving weapon has innate Toxin, and because of the Valence Formation mod, we can combine it with electricity to form Corrosive. At the same time, the electric imbuement we have will have a separate proc, allowing for more damage through damage over time, and the buff you get from your Galvanized status setup. Another benefit of Valence Formation is that it frees you up from elemental modding for Corrosive and Viral. This means you can add the Radiation mod, a faction mod to increase the damage of your element, and also Riven mods that could either boost the critical chance, status chance, or whatever stats you need for your playstyle. In this case, I can mod for Radiated Reload and Malignant Force, then have this decent Riven mod. This build will give me Radiation, Toxin, and then Corrosive and Viral coming from my Lavos. The good news is, there are weapons like the Kuva and Tenet variant in Warframe which you can pick a Progenitor element. This means that you can have a Kuva Nukor with an innate Toxin element, which you can use the same modding concept as what I have in my Incarnate Torrid. However, I think the best element right now for this combo is electric. Any weapon with innate electricity is great with this Valence Formation combo because you can imbue Toxin into your gun, which creates the Corrosive element, and in the process, you will also create a separate damage instance with your Toxin element. I have tested these with some weapons with innate electricity, and the results are absolutely broken. I tested this with the Zorus, and the throw damage is insane. In fact, you wouldn't feel the need to buy a Glaive Prime if you have the Zorus in your hands. Now, this weapon is kind of magical for me since it has this hidden mechanic wherein if you put the Volatile Rebound mod, then you will have a free explosion on bounce, which triggers the buffs coming from mods like Sacrificial Steel without consuming all your combo multiplier. Having this mod is like doing a heavy attack, but you are not. and getting the full benefit of the 12 times combo multiplier that never expires from this thrown weapon. It pairs well with the melee influence mod, as heavy throws proc electricity, allowing you to spread the corrosive, viral, and toxin elements of the combo. This Lavos synergy hits like a truck, and I highly suggest that you try it out for yourself. If you don't like slow throwing builds, then might I suggest using a fast melee build with the Prisma Oma. Again, this weapon has innate electricity, and you can put a condition overload setup with melee influence in this. Then pair it with radiation proc to increase the damage of condition overload, or go with sacrificial steel if you want some orange critical chance in the direct hits of your melee weapon. Melee influence has the same effect as this, and it spreads the corrosive, viral, and toxin elements to enemies, which makes it more potent with the faction mod equipped in Prisma Oma. This fast attack build is a great room clearing synergy, and I also highly advise that you try it now. Then I think you will also love the Amperex for this synergy. This gun also has innate electricity and a solid gun when modded for galvanized setup. In the past, I've been using this with Hunter Munitions and Red Crit combo, but it would take a lot of things just to get those juicy red crits. Also, the damage is not that insane compared to this galvanized setup right now, and without Red Crit, the gun can be a good replacement for Incarnate Turret if you haven't farmed it yet. It just melts everything in steel path levels and allows you to progress in the game easily. Also, you might want to pick up the Shadow again after watching this video, as the Sentient Arm Cannon is also great when paired with this combo. The same modding concept can be implemented to the Sentient Arm Cannon, and the good thing is that this primary has infinite ammunition, which makes it more fun to use. And of course, you also might want to try this out with the First Grimoire Secondary of Warframe. The book has innate electricity also, and while the damage is not as great as the other weapons I have mentioned in this video, I still like it since the synergy allows me to remove some status mods and stack up a lot of fire rate in the build for infinite bullet hose mayhem. Alternox is also a solid choice and can be a great single target killer. You may not like this weapon because many said it's a mastery rank fodder, but when you pair it with this synergy, it turns the gun into a decent killing weapon. Its alternate fire also allows you to proc viral and corrosive, then stack them rapidly to increase health damage and to full armor strip respectively. And finally, you can further improve the damage output of this setup using the Doriga Sentinel that procs more status to enemies. Using the Hellstrom Sentinel weapon and the Doriga's mod precept called Arc Coil, you can proc physical damage types that the Hellstrom has, along with elements such as magnetic and gas to further improve the damage output of your galvanized setup. Also, Lavos with Valence Formation is not the first Warframe to do this kind of synergy. We always have Saren with Venom Dose paired with Nourish to replicate this type of Warframe combo. The only difference is that Lavos elemental damage buff and the feature of Valence Formation that creates combined elements while inflicting the single element also makes it slightly better than the combo we have for Saren. By the way, the corrosive and viral combo is not limited to Lavos and Saren, as you can actually mod for corrosive in your weapon paired with heat. Then you can use Nourish in your Warframe for the viral procs and get the same close result as the element combo modded for viral, corrosive, and toxin. The latter is slightly better because it directly attacks the health of enemies and bypass those high shield valued special units. The heat element is good though against armored enemies, as it increases your damage dealt to them. The downside though is that you will not gain more damage output from faction mods or Riven mods, since you'll end up equipping status chance to form corrosive and heat into your guns or melee weapons. Nonetheless, it's a pretty solid combo to kill steel path and beyond enemies. So far, I'm loving both Saren and Lavos this month, and these Warframes are my most played frames in the game right now, especially the Alchemist, as it's really fun to play it with this insane kill speed setup. So I think that you know everything about this combo, and it's finally time for you to try it out. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again in our next video. Squad Leader, signing off.